Randi Zuckerberg, Twitter debuted on the stock exchange this morning, an experience that was pretty fraught for Facebook. What do you think Facebook learned from that whole experience?
Gosh, well, I think every company that you see is learning from the companies that came before it. Facebook certainly learned a lot from the IPOs that came before us. I do think, I've been on my kind of media book tour blitz all day, so I haven't quite had a chance to dive into the opening day, but it looks like it has been very, very successful for Twitter. And personally, I remember when I first recognized Twitter as a site to be reckoned with on the social media scene, and I write a lot about that in my book, so it's exciting to see where they are today.
Did you ever dream that both Facebook and Twitter would be trading on Wall Street?
Gosh, no, I never dreamed that, but it's really exciting to see two companies, both of which I feel like I was there from the beginning of, because I had so many friends who were there in the early days of Twitter and still there, and it seems like such a new, exciting world.
Your book is all about how we untangle our wired lives, something that I know I struggle with. So what's your #1 tip for all of us?
I think my #1 tip is to be your authentic self. Now, it used to be that we felt we needed to be someone very different in our professional life, someone at home, someone with our friends. But the interesting reality of today's wired world is that you really only get one identity online. All it takes is someone with a savvy Google searching ability, or the fact that we're now Facebook friends with our colleagues and our families know everything about our work lives. All it takes is a little bit of searching to uncover everything about us. So it really is very important to be your authentic self and remember that you kind of only get one identity online now, so you need to think it through pretty carefully.
So you mean if we're authentic, we can't possibly get into trouble, but what if we massively overshare?
That there's definitely such a thing as oversharing, for sure. I talk about that a lot in the book. In fact, the context I talk about that a lot is you speak to a lot of parents who are very concerned about their teenagers on social media, their young kids sharing, and they'll tell you that they're concerned, and then they'll go and be oversharers themselves. So one of the other key takeaways from my book is that, especially as parents in this digital age, we need to really take stock of our own behavior while we're looking at how to effectively raise this digital generation.
And what made you realize it was time to disconnect a bit more?
For me, it was definitely having my own son was that huge aha wake-up moment in my life. I had been at Facebook for 6 years nonstop, and the MO in Silicon Valley is everyone's thinking about what can we disrupt right now? What are we innovating in right now? What are we building now? But it was really having my son that made me start thinking about the future, that made me think, do I want him to grow up in this world where we're expected to be connected 24/7, glued to smartphones, answering emails seconds after they come in? Is that really the answer? And if it's not the answer, I felt I had some responsibility to spark that discussion.
Now, being Mark Zuckerberg's sister, you were told meant you had to be 3 times as good as any man just to get to where they were. Is that still true today, or have you moved beyond that?
I'm trying to move beyond that and make my own name, which is why I'm so excited about my books that are coming out, because I feel like this is really my ability to tell my own story. But you're absolutely right. I talk a lot in the book about the glass half full and half empty reality for me of having such a famous last name in Silicon Valley. On one hand, I'm so thankful for so many of the opportunities that being part of the Zuckerberg family has unlocked for me, both at Facebook and beyond Facebook. But on the other hand, it's really interesting to go about your life living in the shadow of such a successful sibling and struggling to make your own mark on the world. So hopefully with these books I can start to do that.
Randi Zuckerberg, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.